Alright, it is time to choose what topic we're going to be talking about in our first video. And to make sure it's not anything biased of what we pick, we're going to have my brother pick it. Kind of interested to see what we're going to be talking about. Hey, Tanner! Pick one.
There's nothing else on it. Yes, you have it.
Bad movies.
Oh! Alright.
Phantom Menace.
Oh my gosh. The Phantom Menace.
You Phantom Menace.
Okay.
There's a lot of bad movies. Okay. Okay. This was the first time using our amazing method with the special cup. Basically, we took a bunch of ideas instead of brainstorming what we should do and deciding for whatever reason, which would have taken 800 years because, you know, we suck at decisions. We wrote all our decisions down, then put them in the special cup, which is hanging out over there. And we will start adding more and more things to it as we go. And it's up to us, and it's also up to the viewers to comment what they want to see. And we'll put that in the cup, or at least try to.
So the first thing we got out of the cup, well, we didn't pick it. My brother, you saw in the video, my brother picked it out. It was the topic of bad movies.
Bad movies.
Not like inappropriate movies or dirty movies, just
ones that make you go, whether it was the time you first watched it or maybe a month later when you finally realize, wow, this is bad, or you finally realize that, what, get villains to fight, you know, other villains.
Alright.
That's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
Alright, so, do you want to go first on what you think is the worst movie?
The worst movie I've ever seen?
Mm-hmm.
Boy. Well, I've seen a lot of bad movies. And I've also seen a lot of bad clips from movies. So it's like sometimes it's more the clips in the movies that make me cringe than it is the bad movie. Like in Young Guns, don't get me wrong, that's an amazing movie. But when Dick gets shot and killed, do you remember that part?
And Young Guns, was that the Western?
Yeah, it was Charlie Sheen played Dick in that, and when he got shot, this was literally his mimic of dying.
I remember that. I did not, I tried to push that out of my head. I remember watching that movie with my grandfather, and that's the one scene that I remember happening. It's just this guy going, before face planting. It's supposed to be a sad moment, and it wasn't sad at all. It was really funny.
Charlie Sheen is not good at dying. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying Charlie Sheen is a bad actor, because Charlie Sheen is actually an amazing actor.
He's really funny. It's just they probably should have had somebody help him die.
Yeah.
That was awful.
That was awful. Now, movies that are completely bad are ones that ruin their own plot. Like, for instance, Suicide Squad. It had no plot.
I liked it for the actors and the makeup and it's just the characters. The actors did a really good job with the characters, I feel. Some issues I think I had with, like, it was different for people in general because this whole new Joker is coming and he's more of a mob boss, and the Harley Quinn is really, really sexualized, and I didn't think that was cool. So
I liked Harley's original outfit. I liked the original Joker. Harley was way too sexualized in that event. That the sad thing is they actually knew. They knew what was going on. They knew what the fans wanted, but they didn't do it. They actually had a cameo of Harley's outfit. When she was picking out her outfits and getting dressed in between all those guys, right in front of all those guys, what you saw was her take out her original outfit and go, and then drop it. Why didn't they just use that outfit? Why did they immediately sexualize her?
And the fact that they had her dress in front of everybody like that.
I think even she's a little more, like, I think she's more a little respectful to herself than that.
She's called. I like to also refer to her like Dr. Harley Quinn, and I don't think they played on that as much as they could have. It was just some girl going to see the Joker, and then she messed up and
Yeah.
let the Joker out.
I think a lot of times in the comics, they actually referred to her when she was in the asylum. They referred to her as Dr. Quinn, even though she wasn't a doctor anymore. So a lot of times they talk to her as Dr. Quinn, not Harley Quinn. And most of the time, that's what they do in asylums like that, is they don't actually say their basically fake name, which she was known as Harley Quinn. The Joker was known as Joker. They would call Joker something else if they knew his real name, but nobody does. Like, for instance, Harvey. Two-Face, they call him Harvey. They call them by their real names. Even Clayface, they call them all by their real names. So they would end up calling her Dr. Quinn as in more of a professional route. However, I didn't see any profession being practiced in that movie at the time. It was just some dumb guy that got sexually attracted to Harley. Once again, with the word sexual.
I wish that they could have done something more with her. They could have done so much more. Like, you don't need a bunch of half-dressed girls or like a half-dressed girl in a movie to make the movie good. What makes the movie good is the plot, which Suicide Squad does not have that much. I think the reason why they tried too hard to make the characters good, and the characters are like El Diablo. I really like Jace Hernandez. Like, I thought he did a pretty good job of portraying Diablo on the big screen, because that's the first. No one has ever done that before.
Yeah.
No one has ever portrayed certain characters, and I think they did I think Will Smith did an excellent job as
Deathshot?
I don't know why I almost said Death Gun. I'm thinking of like an anime.
Yeah.
Death Gun.
Yeah.
And so I think that they did a really, really good job. Like, but it's just bad moves for Harley.
That is something that's played off well in another movie we have on our list, which is, we'll talk about Suicide Squad more, but that's for another time, which is The Phantom Menace. I thought that it was an okay movie, but the only characters I believe that were played well in that movie were Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Darth Maul. Those were the only good characters that were played. Everything else was kind of like cringy. Like Jar Jar, they could have done a whole lot better with that. They could have had a lot better than... They could have taken him out completely. He was actually originally supposed to die. Why didn't you kill him?
Why did you kill him?
Why didn't you kill him
off?
No
He needed
offense.
to die.
No offense, but you don't take a fish and turn him into a human and expect him not to be annoying. I mean, that's what he is, a walking fish with floppy ear things. Like, the first thing you hear...
He looked like a duck, honestly. Like, that's the first thing I thought was, like, Duck Fish Man.
Yeah, like
Duck Fish Man.
The one thing, like, I thought it was okay at first. I thought he was just a high-energy character until he did that amazing flip into the water. That was cool. But the sad part was that really annoying mating call that he flared out into the air as he did it. And there was also parts when it was cool. Obi-Wan, like, Ewan McGregor and Liam Neeson did really good job with their characters. Like, when they jumped down and they had their lightsabers ready to fight.
Yeah.
Those droids, but their Jar Jar is in the back, even though you know for a fact he can actually go whap and land perfectly fine. We've seen it before. Instead, he's back there flailing off the edge like a buffoon. Like, what's the point of that? Like, people have made...
They tried to make it funny, but it just wasn't funny. It was just
wasn't.
cringy.
It was just cringy.
It was just a lot of cringe.
Like, it was kind of... I think it was something that Liam and Ewan didn't even know was happening at the time, because they were all serious. They had their serious faces on. They got their lightsabers out, ready. Well, their sticks of glow out.
Sticks of glow.
They were ready to do what they were to do. But it was just that extra couple of seconds with Jar Jar flailing his legs in the background that totally took everything out of that movie. There's, like, a time and place for that. Like, in... Which Star Wars movie was it? It was 3, when R2-D2 slammed out of the room and smacked into the wall. That was okay.
That was
funny.
Cool. That was funny.
That was funny. But when you have this annoying, basically bag of pink flesh walking around, making absolute no reason to the plot, like when the apples, Liam did a really good job playing that off. If you do that again, we're gonna have some problems. But there was just no need for it. Like, they spent a lot of money on CGI that they should not have spent. They shouldn't have spent it.
Like, I think that they could have made his character so much, and even if they were gonna go like continue on like having him die, I think his death would have been more of an impact than his being there.
Yeah, than his being there.
Because even though you have those characters that like even though you watch a movie, like even though you think that they're stupid or whatever, when they die, you can see how the other characters in the story react to it, and it makes you feel for them.
Yeah, and you know what's even sadder is when Jar Jar, of course, survives, they give him a higher position. What did they give him? What position did they give him?
It was like it wasn't the king. It was like
chancellor.
Like,
or something.
yeah, something like that.
I don't remember what position they gave him.
It was something high up for some weird reason.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I love all this stuff, but I don't remember what exactly they put him at. I think they put him as a chancellor almost. They did put him as a big speaker, but he took on this really, like, he went from this clueless idiot, this immature freak of nature, to this big politician person that had a big role in life that was suddenly mature. I like him in the second movie more than I do the first. Because in the second movie, he's actually mature. He's actually playing an important role. In the first one, he's just in the way. There is no point for him except for them to make negotiation with the underwater cities and to help fight for Naboo. Why couldn't they have just found that some other way? Why couldn't they have just dropped him off right there on the spot? It's sad. That I think Jar Jar was the biggest part of pain in that movie.
Also, the little boy who played Anakin is really, really annoying.
He was really annoying.
But he did, for a little kid, I think for a little kid to say those big words and to like communicate and act more like older than what he is, I think he was trying.
Yeah.
But I think that they could have done a little bit more with his part. Like, he was supposed to, and like the whole character of Anakin in the first three movies, some people love him, some people hate him, some people think he's a drama queen, some people are like, oh, that's why Darth Vader is like this.
You know what's sad about that is there's actually a story behind that as well. Well, it's not behind it, it's after it. After that movie, he ended up getting bullied in school a lot. He ended up with schizophrenia, and I think last year he died. Because he forgot to take his medication, and he went and got in a car wreck or something like that, and it killed him. And he was only 21.
The actor, yeah.
The actor, he was only 21 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the same actor that played Anakin in the second and third movie. So, a lot of people thought that, but that's not true. But yeah, that is a sad thing that he was actually bullied in school for playing in the movie as pretty much a bad actor, and he quit after that. He quit. He had a lot of potential. That was his first movie. He could have had a lot of potential, but he just couldn't make it with all the bullying in school. And
but he was a good-looking guy. He was attractive. He had a nice voice, and he could have just done so much. He could have done so well.
Yeah. And, well, Star Wars, bringing us to the next movie, which is a very recent one that came out, Rogue One. My biggest problem with this movie is it was useless, and there was no character development. Literally, this movie makes Suicide Squad look like, I don't know, a survival squad, because everyone in Suicide Squad, except for that one guy, dies. Doesn't die.
And El Diablo.
Yeah.
Slipknot that just kind of...
Well, El Diablo is a demigod.
Yeah, I don't think
he's gonna come back.
He's gonna come back.
He's gonna come back. Everyone dies. I mean, doesn't die. They don't die. There's like 2 people that die. And, well, die. Because demigods and all that. The other guy gets his head blown off. Like, how far into the movie was that?
It was like, they weren't even in deep in the city of like fighting. Like, Captain Boomerang convinced him to like try to escape with him.
Yeah, he was just like, okay, I got this.
Okay, I got this.
No, but Rogue One, everyone dies.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But you probably should have already known that if you're a Star Wars fan.
No. I don't even think I should put a spoiler alert on this because, bro, the movie is so bad you don't want to watch it. Don't watch it. It's terrible. It'll waste your life. You don't need to see it. It's not gonna do you any good.
The only amazing part I thought was a very I didn't like it at all the way through.
It was a romance almost.
It was just so, and the character like, gosh, first I remember who was the, I guess her love interest at the end, like that.
They were in love, but there wasn't even a kiss at the end.
He
Like,
killed that one guy for just no reason, and I don't
Yeah.
understand why he killed him. He wasn't, the other guy wasn't even a bad guy. He just killed him. I'm like, you're supposed to be kind of a good guy, but you killed this guy, so now I think you're a bad guy. But apparently you're supposed to be a good guy. But I'm really confused.
There's this rising one. I don't even remember the character names because the characters, let's be real, they were awesome. The characters were awesome, but they all freaking die in an hour. I mean, you meet
Everybody
them,
dies.
they're cool. There's this monk kind of guy with his stick and he's got the force and all that. He's like, I am one with the force and the force is with me. That hurt. That hurt. That was actually like, to a big Star Wars fan like me and her, that's actually an insult.
Yeah.
Like, that's painful to watch. And then he walks through all these laser blasts. Newsflash, that's not how that works.
Nothing, no.
That's not how the force works. It's not like...
He's just a crazy old blind dude. But
Yeah, he went
his,
and...
his buddy
Shook.
helps him not die.
Yeah. Pretty much. And then, like, he's like, he turns around. You would think that he'd use the force to walk back and be fine. But no. He just goes, phew, and gets shot.
And ended that.
That's a terrible movie. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Other movies. You got anything?
Yes. Is a movie that was supposed to be the live action version of the Avatar: The Last Airbender series, the anime that you've seen on Nickelodeon. Now, I am a hardcore Avatar fan, and you've also seen like.
I've seen the actual cartoon.
And
I
I've
haven't
also
seen the movie.
Korra,
Tanner over
The
here.
Legend of Korra. I've always seen we have them all. We have them all on DVD. We binge watch them. They're great. It's just really interesting of how like other characters are. I really love that anime. I think it's a great showing like of a great American anime that you can show to your kids. Hello, Care Bear. Goodbye, Care
This
Bear.
is Care Bear. This is a Care Bear. Since I haven't watched this movie, we're gonna have a good friend over here talk about it with us. Come here, Tanner.
Come here.
Because I haven't watched it.
He's been sitting back there the whole time waiting to talk about it. He's like, I can see the excitement in your eyes when I. So this is Tanner. Oh, hi.
Yeah, don't look awkwardly to the right of the camera. The camera's actually on the left side.
All right. So
It's like this.
Left, stupid.
Wait, what? I'm bad at this. Give me a second.
just
I'll
stare
learn.
straight, Tanner.
I'll stare straight.
Just
stare
talk
straight.
like that. All right, there you go.
Okay.
So-
well,
I don't know. Look at the white ball behind it.
The Last Airbender
Okay.
was directed by somebody named M. Night
Shyamalan.
Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. And I think he's done some pretty good movies, but he has done some pretty terrible movies.
I believe you as well. I
Because
believe.
The Sixth Sense, he directed The Sixth Sense, The Visit, his newer movie, and Signs. He's also made the new movie that just came out, Split, which I thought was a really, really good, and
I think that
Unbreakable.
was actor as well. That actor,
Yes,
that actor did a fantastic
oh
job.
my gosh.
What was his name?
He's the same guy who played Professor Xavier, and he also played
Yeah.
Mr. Thomas and or Mr. Thomas and the Narnia movies.
Yes, he that guy is going to get an Emmy or something for that.
He is amazing.
He's getting an award.
And
I know he is.
And he also directed the prequel to that movie, Unbreakable, with Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Okay. Now, as amazing as they could, I was so hyped when I heard that they were making a live action version. Remember we were sitting there, we were so hyped.
We were wanted to go to
This-
the everything. We couldn't
We
wait.
were so excited. And when we couldn't go see it, we were like kind of sad, like, oh man, it's enough. But then we got enough money and we could go to the movie theaters. And it was like the last week that they were showing it. And we sat in the movie theater with us and like 3 other people. And we sat there, and every 5 seconds we had to correct the movie. It was that bad. It was nothing at all. Like,
What are some examples?
like their names were wrong. Like Sokka, his name was Soka. Ong, like very terrible, worst names ever. Like it looked like he just watched the first first show, like the first TV show that they had on there.
Looked at
Just
the names
watched
and
it.
read the plot.
Yeah, basically.
Looked at the names, read the plot, and then watched the first 5 minutes of the show and said, "I got this."
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
They try to stick with the fact that it's very hard to make a series that is there's so much to it and put it all in one movie.
Was it clear that the actors didn't know what they were doing either?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah, it's very clear.
They had no idea.
The guy who played Ong,
Ong.
Ong,
Ong.
not they didn't say Aang, not Ong.
Ong.
The guy who played it is just so cringy. He was a cringy little boy, creepy little cringy little.
He was
Ong.
good with a stick, is that what you're saying? That's it. They
Not
found
even
it.
that.
Not even
Not even
that.
that- not even
No,
that.
It's
This-
like
The
mediocre.
Was it
CGI was horrible.
Probably.
It was CGI,
The
wasn't it?
CGI is terrible.
I would have gotten somebody.
Firebending, listen. Let me tell you. Okay, so you know how the firebenders can produce flames from their feet and their hands, and also they can also breathe.
Don't they do it from the air like they do it here, but it comes out like a little
Yeah,
bit?
It comes like it, but it's very much directly from them.
Yeah.
That's what makes a firebender a firebender. What they did was, if there was fire around, they would use that fire because they couldn't produce their own.
Yeah, they can't produce their own.
So
That doesn't even make
So literally,
any sense.
when they were attacking the Water Nation, all the Water Nation had to do is put out all the fire, and they're good.
That's literally all they had to do was put out all the, because they're water benders and
Yeah.
there's water everywhere.
no,
Yeah.
see, that defeats the entirety of
Yeah.
when Aang actually fights that big firebender. Because I actually saw that fight scene when he
Yeah.
when he turns into like he starts using all 4 elements.
Yeah. When he
That
fights
just completely like if the movie did that, that would have been awesome if they actually did things right. They should have taken
I hope
some
if
nerds
M. Night
like us to
Shyamalan,
play it.
if you are watching this, do not direct another movie for this series. Please don't.
Yeah, if you are a severe drama that goes into deep psychology and psychologically affects people, don't write something that's supposed to be an anime.
So, in the end, I hated that movie. That is probably the worst movie I think that I could ever watch in my entire I've ever seen.
I don't know, I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to see it.
You can watch it later.
part of me
My
is like,
opinion on
it-
too, but
it's-
it's bad.
It's worth to watch just to make fun of.
Every,
You just want to watch it once to make fun of it.
I'm not even kidding you. Every 10 seconds, within 5 to 10 seconds, you will find something that is wrong.
Well, with that being said on that movie, this was Tanner. He's our cameraman. Nice way to meet someone
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes. He'll show up quite a bit because we have no one else. We have no friends. Okay, so actually we have plenty of friends. I could probably bring some people here, but other than that, Tanner, go back and do your job. We don't care about you.
Bye, Tanner.
Just kidding. Bye,
We
Tanner.
love you, Tanner.
We
We
love
love
Tanner.
Tanner. We love Tanner. That's
We
why
love
we
Tanner.
terrorize him.
He's
All around me are
familiar faces, worn out faces. Don't know the words. Going off of those movies, somehow, some way or
Somehow.
another, we have to close out the video at some point in time. So we're gonna close it out by talking about Batman versus Superman.
Okay, let's talk about Batman vs. Superman.
This movie, it was kind of funny. Not
the,
really.
The fact that Batman thought that he could kill Superman. I guess that's funny in a sense.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he almost did, but he could have, but Mary.
It's Martha.
Oh, Martha.
Martha.
Thank you for that, Tanner. Martha.
Martha.
How do you know that name?
Why are you saying the name? That's how bad it is. I don't remember it. But why are you saying that name? Stop saying that name. That's what stopped Batman from killing Superman, which is Batman getting pissed off. I don't know. He got angry, and he didn't kill Superman. He got angry.
It's just, it could have been good. Let's talk about the characters. Let's break it down so it's not so.
I will break it down for you.
We're running in circles. I feel so. Let's
I will
break
it down for you. Batman kills people in the movie, and Superman is an absolute jerk.
Yeah.
It's funny. He's like, I don't kill people, and the next thing you know, when he's driving all these explosions and stuff, there's clearly a guy go, ah!
People are going to die within that.
This makes my arms look freakishly long.
So I don't like the fact that. Now you have to think that what they were trying to do was set up for the Justice League. I am having trouble with understanding what they're gonna do with everything else, because if you notice in the movie, you see that it's clearly that the Joker had killed Robin, because you saw Robin's suit and you saw written all over his suit. And that, now, is that Robin Jason Todd? Is that going to lead into Red Hood? And if so, that was a really, really crappy cameo of that. It should have been something cooler than that. And
see, the difference between DC and Marvel is all of DC's original writers are dead. That are just not involved. However, in a lot of Marvel movies, other than the X-Men and all that, you still have, in the Avengers and all that, you still have, what's his face? Stan Lee.
He did say it first.
Stan Lee.
It's very, very difficult to... And this was also the movie. Batman vs Superman came out around the same time that Civil War was happening. So this whole hype, like, oh, are people gonna like Batman vs Superman more than Civil War? No, I prefer Civil War, preferably more, because number one, it had a lot of characters in it, and like almost all the Avengers.
Plus the introduction of Black Panther, that was a big one.
Yes, it is really great. But Batman vs Superman, I don't think that they're trying to lead it up. They're trying to do what Marvel did, but it's very hard to do what Marvel did in the small amount of time that they're trying to do it. Marvel has had years to build up their movies.
Not just years, decades.
Decades, starting from like the Incredible Hulk and
yeah,
movies like the first Iron Man movie.
The Punisher is actually where it started.
Yeah, and like all these great movies, Daredevil and leading in like the Fantastic Four. They have all these people like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is like a big character.
3 different actors, and I think the new one's got it down.
He's very good.
Except for his aunt. His aunt isn't even. She's like a hot model compared to. And Tony Stark even points that out.
What I think that the problem I don't like is the fact that I don't know if Wonder Woman is going to be good just because Batman vs Superman was not very good.
Mm-mm.
DC movies have had a habit of not making good movies. Aside from one of the greatest DC movies I think they have put out ever is the Lego Batman movie.
That movie was amazing, but at the same time, I don't think they're the same people. Not the same people.
No.
And I think the big difference between the DC side of things and the Marvel side of things is Marvel's got their comedy and all that, while DC they're trying too hard. It's a big drama, is what it is. There's nothing funny in Batman vs Superman. There's nothing great about it. People people read a lot of comics a lot of times because they read the comics not just for the drama aspect, but they just wanted to see what happened next. I found myself when I was watching Batman vs Superman, I was like, when's this gonna end?
I'm like, I don't care. I just want to see somebody.
Because nothing happened here. What's gonna happen next? It was extremely repetitive. I didn't like it. Like, I barely remember the movie. The biggest part of the movie I remember is when Batman stops Superman's punch. That's really the only part I remember. And Martha. Whatever it is, Mary Martha.
The fact that they set it up that, like, Superman would have lost to Batman. Superman could have killed Batman anytime he wanted to. Because Superman, a lot of people don't know this, but Superman can become as strong as he needs to be.
Yeah. His power is literally be as strong as he needs to be. This has allowed him to pull entire solar systems behind him on his back. He also, I don't think people realize how ridiculous Superman is. He's reversed time by reversing the rotation of the Earth. It makes absolutely no sense.
But a rock can hurt him.
It's just Superman. Yeah, a rock can hurt him. But in all reality, we all know he wins anyways.
It won't matter. He's gonna win. And the whole thing, like, oh, Superman's the death of Superman.
It wasn't the death of Superman.
He didn't die.
He didn't die. You just see the stuff rotate, the stuff lift, and it's like, you know, they've tried to kill him several times in the comics. It doesn't work. Because he is literally the definition of superhero. He is the superhero. He is the Superman. He has that title for a reason. The Superman. Like, a lot of people don't understand how powerful Superman actually is. For the instance, they try to put him against, like, Goku and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't realize that he's on such a higher level than any anime character ever that he's like, and they literally pop like a bubble. Like, he's too powerful for anything. It's
ridiculous.
It's too powerful, so it makes no sense to throw into the plot, he died. When, in the first time he encountered Doomsday, he killed Doomsday. The first 3 times, I think. And then Doomsday finally killed him. Because Superman physically could not kill him, he had no way to do it. But in the beginning, Superman never died. He just bludgeoned Doomsday to death, pretty much. And then Doomsday came back, he can't bludgeon him anymore. The second time, he throws him into space. And the third time, he officially kills Superman. But then Superman comes back even more powerful. And then Doomsday is no more.
See, what I'm worried about is, I don't think I want to go see Wonder Woman.
I don't want to either.
Because I don't want to waste my money on something that I can get at Redbox. I don't know if they're going to do a good job with Aquaman. Maybe, maybe not. I do like the actor who played him. He played Khal Drogo, I believe. I believe that's what he was. In Game of Thrones, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, he played one of the tribesmen for
which is why
Daenerys'
I feel bad
love
for him.
interest. Yeah.
I feel bad for him because this movie, it's either he's going to make the movie great, or the movie is absolutely going to destroy his reputation.
And he's actually he's a really, really nice, he can do really well, like, he's a nice guy, he's really good to work with.
Which is weird, because Aquaman's not a nice guy. A lot of people take Aquaman as a weaker kind of jerk of a hero.
No, he is a king.
He protects
fear
70% of the Earth by himself. Okay. Think about that. The entire ocean by himself. He threw, what was it, Los Angeles? Like, because it was floating into the ocean, he said no. And he picked it up. Mind you, Hulk had trouble doing this. Lifting an entire city. He picked it up and threw it. He said, back where it's supposed to be.
He said, no.
So that's the big issue with that part. Is when you have I feel like they're going to mess it up.
See, the problem with it is, what I didn't like was when I first saw the character, I thought, why isn't Aquaman blonde? That wouldn't be important if not for his whole character is surrounded by the fact that he was thrown away from his family was because he was blonde, and that was a sign of evil. Like, blonde hair, for some reason, they said, that's like, in the Salem Witch, if you had a freckle, and they held they held a burn to it and it didn't burn off or something, it was evil. It's kind of like that.
They never watched He-Man. He-Man had some luscious hair.
He-Man and Aquaman. I'm afraid I'm gonna watch Aquaman. I'm just gonna be sitting there. I'm gonna be like,
I'm gonna cry.
This is Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, isn't it?
I'm going to ruin myself by watching that movie. Because I think that they're going to butcher it. Well, I think there was a lot to go over and talk about. Yep. So, I think we'll be closing the video on that note. I am Eric Gresham.
And I'm Marissa Ellis.
And I forgot the closing line.
was easy.